Who would have thought that a single disease could wipe out entire villages, leaving nothing but silence and the smell of death in its wake? In the early 14th century, Europe was already weakened by war and famine, but nothing could have prepared them for the terror that was about to unfold. The Black Death, a plague that started in Central Asia, spread quickly along trade routes, carried by fleas on rats. In 1347, 12 Genoese ships arrived in Messina, Sicily, bringing not just goods but death itself. The sailors, fevered and covered in dark boils, were already doomed. Within days the disease spread across the town and beyond. From Sicily the plague spread like wildfire. It struck Venice, Genoa and Pisa, carried inland through Florence, the heart of trade and culture. In France, it ravaged Marseille and Avignon, reaching Paris by 1348. Across the English Channel, it arrived in Dorset before tearing through London, Norwich and Bristol. Spain, Germany and Scandinavia were not spared. By 1350 the plague had reached Russia, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. It moved with terrifying speed. Victims fell ill one day and died the next, their bodies covered in dark lumps, their lungs filled with blood. Fear spread faster than the disease itself. People abandoned their homes. Priests prayed for mercy, but the plague cared nothing for prayers. Whole villages disappeared, leaving only empty houses and the sound of distant wolves. By the time it was over, the Black Death had taken 50 million lives, nearly half of Europe's population. It didn't just kill, it tore apart entire societies. The wealthy lost their fortunes, the poor gained new power, and the world as people knew it was forever changed. But who would have thought that a disease so powerful could just stop? The Black Death didn't vanish overnight. It ran out of victims. As it spread, the sick died faster than they could infect others. Towns began to seal their gates, ships waited for weeks before docking, and entire villages were abandoned. Some believe the changing climate helped reduce the number of rats and fleas that spread the plague. Others think those who survived developed a kind of immunity. By the early 1350s, the worst had passed. But the Black Death didn't disappear completely, it returned in waves over the centuries. While it never again reached the same scale, the scars it left on society would never fade. Like in following for more interesting history story.